what you asked for Christmas. You might just get it.
Hello everyone, my name is Easy, and welcome back to another episode of Easy Does It. Now, we are taking a look this week at a channel called Criminal Listed. They've been around since 2016. They've got quite a number of views, over 220 mil, and they have a good number of subscribers, by almost 900,000, which is pretty good. But again, they've been on for quite a while. They're basically do true crime, unsolved mysteries, and sometimes they do stuff where, you know, they'll show where a particular mystery might have been solved or something. They'll do videos on that too. Now, it says that, you know, it was created and written by a guy named Carter Ensign. Apparently he's Canadian. No offense against Carter. I'm not taking butt shots at Carter. But honestly, I've seen some of the videos, and the dude's voice, he can put your ass to sleep. He just has one of those monotone voices, kind of like Ben Stein. But, you know, if you're looking for something to watch that will relax you and eventually put you to sleep, I definitely suggest Criminally Listed. Sorry, Carter, but seriously, I mean, his voice, he will put you to sleep because it's really monotone. You know, he just talks like this through the whole video. You know, it's like that. So, no offense to Carter. He just has one of those voices. Sorry, bud. But yeah, we're going to take a look and do a reaction. I'm going to give you a sample of what he does. I skipped all the junk at the beginning, and I've gone directly to starting off with the cases. I'm not sure. There's supposed to be 3 of them on here, I think. I may show you 2 of them. I may not have time to do the 3rd one. The video's kind of long, but we'll check out a little bit of it, and I'll get your thoughts on it, and then I'll give you my 2 cents and how it's rated. Alright, let's do this.
In the autumn of 1971, 53-year-old James Tappan Hall was a special deputy sheriff in Montgomery County, Maryland. He was a husband, father, and grandfather. On the night of October 23, 1971, Hall was working as a security guard at the Manor Country Club in Rockville, Maryland. Hall wasn't supposed to be working that night. Instead, he was filling in for a friend who couldn't work.
And this is his latest video.
Some guests came into the country club and said the man was on the ground in the parking lot and he had a head injury. That man was James Tappan Hall. He had been shot in the back of the head with a small caliber gun. His service weapon was lying beside him, but it had not been fired. The investigators surmised Hall interrupted a burglary at a home near the country club's parking lot. Hall was taken to the hospital. The 53-year-old grandfather never regained consciousness and died 3 days after being shot. Investigators worked on the case for years, but eventually the case went cold. Decades went by. Eventually, it became the oldest and only unsolved homicide in the county involving law enforcement. In October 2021, on the 50th anniversary of the murder, the Cold Case Unit decided to reopen the case.
They do that a lot.
And one name that kept coming up was Larry David Becker. Becker was 19 years old at the time of the murder.
Cold cases, they do that a lot.
He also had a criminal record.
They'll wait years and then they'll open it up again. It's like
shoplifting and escape.
You could have figured most of this shit out when it was prevalent.
At the time, they didn't consider him
instead of
a
waiting
suspect
years.
in the case, but they did think he might have known what had happened to Hall. The cold case investigators found the reel-to-reel recording of the interview with Becker from 1973. The investigators sent the reels to the FBI, and they were converted into digital. Then they listened to the audio and noticed that Becker mentioned things about the crime that were never made public. For example, he knew how many shots were fired at Hall. The cold case investigators decided to talk to Becker if he was still alive. It turned out he was still alive. Around 1975, 4 years after the murder, Becker changed his last name to Smith.
40 years.
He also moved out of state.
I've seen him do
For
longer
45 years, he had been living in Little Falls, New York.
for older cases.
The
Sorry.
investigators thought that the fact that he changed his name and moved out of state was suspicious. Becker, who was now Smith, was 70 years old, and he was living in a public housing apartment building for older people and people with disabilities. In September 2022, the cold case investigators interviewed Smith about the murder. He confessed to killing James Tappan Hall. He said he was robbing a house near the country club. He had parked his car in the dark parking lot of the country club. When he returned to his car, he was surprised to find Hall there, and he accidentally shot him. He didn't even realize he had killed him. However, the investigators didn't believe him. They think that he ambushed Hall. 51 years after the murder of James Tappan Hall, Larry David Smith, formerly known as Larry David Becker, was charged with first-degree murder. He chose not to fight extradition. He was sent back to Maryland, where he is currently awaiting trial. Number 2, Nancy Anderson.
You know, maybe some people can,
Nancy Anderson
Why?
was born in 1922
Why after
in Bay City, Michigan.
all
She
that
grew up
time
there.
do they confess to a murder?
She
It
had
makes
9
no
siblings.
sense.
After graduating high school, she moved to Colorado.
I
where she
mean, they
worked
got
as a
away with
waitress. She always dreamed of living in
So
Hawaii, so she moved to Honolulu
never
in
understood that.
1971. She had a small apartment with a roommate in Waikiki, a neighborhood in Honolulu.
I'm not
She
saying
had a
they
job at
should
McDonald's near her apartment. Anderson planned
shouldn't
on
be
living
punished
an
for the
island
murder.
life
I'm just
before
saying,
going to college.
if they got away with it, why would they confess
On
to
January
it
7th,
so many years
1972,
later? It
Anderson's
just makes no
roommate,
sense.
Joey Spooner, returned
Regardless
home.
if it was eating at their conscience
conscience
or not. It's just
Spooner
dumb.
thought that they were salesmen. Spooner went to her bedroom, and a short time later, she heard Anderson show the men out. Spooner then fell asleep. At 4:15 p.m., Spooner thought she heard her scream, but she didn't get out of bed. 45 minutes
yeah.
later, Spooner woke
You're
up
going to hear a
and thought she
scream,
heard
but you're not
laughter
going
coming from
to
Anderson's
wake up.
room.
Whatever.
She thought that was odd, because Anderson should have been at work already. She went into the bedroom and made a gruesome discovery. 18-year-old Nancy Anderson had been brutally stabbed to death. She had been stabbed in the neck, chest, stomach, back, sides, and both arms.
See, there's
Medical
no
examiner
way her
found 63
roommate didn't
wounds.
know something was going
5
on.
were exit wounds.
Bullshit.
One of the knife went through her body.
You hear that
She had not
kind
been
of shit
sexually
all the
assaulted.
time. Because they want to
The
stay
police
out
had
of it.
several suspects.
They
This
know
included the
probably
salesman
did it,
who were at her apartment
and they don't
earlier
want to
that
get
day.
killed too or some shit. It's
But they
just dumb.
cooperated with the investigation. They gave their fingerprints and underwent a polygraph exam. They ended up being cleared as suspects. The police also looked at Anderson's ex-boyfriends, and they were all cleared. The building manager was also cleared as a suspect. Eventually, the case went cold. However, the police did have the killer's DNA. It was found on a towel in the apartment. Another bloody towel was found on the fire escape. It also had the killer's blood on it. Nearly 5 decades went by. Then in 2021, the police
Wow.
received a tip from an anonymous caller.
They've got the DNA, but they can't identify the person.
Explained why they should
Whatever.
investigate him. He was 77-year-old Tudor Trilla, who lived in Reno, Nevada. The police never revealed what the anonymous caller said to have them investigate Trilla, but they did investigate him. At the time of the murder, Trilla was a graduate assistant at the University of Hawaii, which is close to Anderson's apartment. He then went to law school in Sacramento, California. At some point, he moved to Nevada. In 1979, he got his law license. He practiced law in Carson City, Incline Village, in Reno. According to lawandcrime.com, in the 1980s, he was a deputy attorney general and a senior assistant to the Reno city attorney. At some point, he went into private practice. He mostly worked on taxation issues and estate issues.
It just makes no sense. They've had that DNA
Unsuccessfully ran for the Nevada Supreme Court.
all that time.
Although Trilla was a lawyer, he had some brushes with the law.
But now all of a sudden,
In
you know,
1994, while he was running for the Nevada Supreme
way
Court, he was
many
arrested
years
for
later,
failing to pay child
then
support
they
for
are
his 3
able to
children.
figure out who it is. That doesn't make
He
no
was supposed
sense.
to pay his ex-wife $995 every month. He had fallen behind to the point where he owed his ex-wife $33,000. He ended up being jailed for 8 days. In 1995, Trilla was charged with kidnapping after he allegedly tied up his girlfriend with the intention of raping her. But those charges were dropped. Then in 1998, Trilla was involved in an unusual lawsuit. He sued the owner of the Mustang Ranch brothel, Joe Confrente, for $14 million.
Now this is what I don't get. Why is Carter going over the entire history of this guy? That makes no sense. Unless it's related to the case,
because he refused to launder money.
then why bring it up?
However, the case didn't make
That's
it very far.
kind of dumb to me. He's drawing out the video, making it really long for no apparent
After
reason.
getting the anonymous tip, the police tracked down one of Trilla's sons and got a DNA sample from him. They compared
Regardless
it to
of
the
what
DNA left
past
in the
crimes
towels.
he's committed,
The results
if it doesn't have,
indicated that the blood in
you
the
know,
towels
really any
belonged to the
relation to the
donor's
case,
biological father.
why mention it?
On September 6, 2022, the police got a warrant to collect a sample of Trilla's DNA.
All you had to do was say,
They went to his home
Ace
after he
committed
recently
several
had
crimes
eye surgery.
before, blah, 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 and then
They
moved
collected
on.
a saliva sample from him. It was a match to the DNA on the bloody towels. On September 13th, 2022,
From a tip.
nearly 50 years after
They
Jason
have
Reese's
this
murder,
gigantic
77-year-old
database.
Trevor Chirilla was
If he's
arrested
been in
for
trouble
charged
with the
second-degree
law
murder.
before, they should have had his
He
DNA on
filed
record.
extradition because he claimed his constitutional rights were violated when his DNA was taken.
Oh,
On December 2022, he
sure.
was extradited to Hawaii, where he is currently awaiting trial. Number 1, William
Okay.
Sean Hamilton.
We're going to stop there. I got one more to go over, but we're not going to go over that one. I just wanted to give you an example of what his channel's like. Now, he does have another channel called Paranormally Listed, which he doesn't show on here, but he does have a second channel called Paranormally Listed, where, of course, you know, he goes over paranormal cases, you know. He's not a ghost hunter or anything like that. He just goes over like old cases of ghosts and supernatural events, that kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of these true crime, you know, even some of the you know, like strange mysteries, kind of mystery channels. I showed you Scary Mysteries in an earlier video. They piece together all these pictures and little video samples to give you something to watch while they're talking about a particular case or something. They just mesh them together. While they mix in, every once in a while, they'll mix in an old photo from the case or about the person that they're talking about, that kind of thing. They all do it. I like some of the true crime stuff. Every now and then I'll watch channels like this. It's a decent channel. Nothing wrong with it. It's actually very interesting sometimes. But you can get burnt out watching them mesh all these you know, pictures and video samples together to narrate their story or go over a case. You can get burnt out. Like I said, this guy will put you to sleep if you listen to him long enough. Nothing against Carter, but it's true. I'm sorry, but it's just true. Anyways, I give Criminally Listed two thumbs up. Other than, you know, the monologue voice, it's a great channel. Really is. It's decent. He covers a bunch of the mysteries that you don't know about. Because mostly most of the channels cover bizarre mysteries and shit like that. But he covers a lot of true crime stuff that most people don't know about. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Like I said, check it out if you're into true crime. You'll probably like it. Like I said, 2 thumbs up. Decent channel. Definitely worth, you know, give it a couple of shots. You know, see if you like it. Anyways, like I said, that's all I have for you this week. So until next time, thank you for watching. Take care.